This workout is for time. 100 wall balls, 80 GHD sit-ups, 60 pistols, 40 calorie echo bike, and 20 dumbbell box step overs. This workout is in week 5 of our TTT Compete Open Prep cycle, and it is a long, grinding chipper. It's really more geared towards those that may make a quarterfinal, and as we get closer to both the open and quarterfinal season, we want to make sure that we're giving exposure both to open, fast-paced workouts and quarterfinal style workouts. Here, pick your poison. If you're good at wall balls and maybe you want to start a little bit faster, or if you're good at pistols and echo bike, maybe you pace the wall balls and the GHD sit-ups so that you can crush the echo bike and the pistols later on in the workout. Let's go check it out. Hello, my TTT athlete friends. We have a guest commentator. Say hello, Mia.
Hello, hi, I'm here.
Hi, she's here. All right, we have Chris K. He's going to demo in week 5 on Friday our long chipper. Most of our training is geared towards both open and quarterfinal prep, but this obviously session is geared towards quarterfinal prep.
Nothing says quarterfinals like GHDs
And
in
echo
the
bike.
past 2 years. Well, I would love to see an echo bike come out, but I feel like if they don't warn us,
That is
they
true.
wouldn't do it, but maybe they would. I don't know.
Yeah.
Can't predict anything.
As you all who have been in the program have noticed, we have put in the echo bike every once in a while just in case it does come out. I think it's something that you just need to be good on. And for those that go past quarterfinals, you definitely will see that in some kind of semifinal or at the games. Now, we know that's not most of the people that are training with us, but I still think it's good training to make sure that you're ready for whatever comes out in the open.
This is a 20-pound ball, correct?
It is a 20-pound ball, and there are 2 different versions of this. I think that's important to note. Chris is doing the elite version, which starts with 100 wall balls. The RX version will start with 80. If you're someone that feels great and you want to get after it, then you can do the elite version even if you follow RX. But we have kind of dampened down the overall volume because it's been a tough week in RX.
I actually was there when Chris was doing this, and he said that the leg fatigue crept up much sooner than he expected, which makes sense with all the movements combined. But he's doing big-ish sets here to start.
Yeah, I think there's really kind of 2, there's plenty of ways that you could pace this, but 2 ways that I always think about it is someone that goes by feel, maybe does one big set to open and then they kind of start, or they go into smaller sets with the wall balls, or the person that likes to start right away with like, I'm going to do 10s the entire time and 10 sets of 10, which most people hate that idea because like, it's going to take so long. But if you are disciplined with your rest breaks, you can actually shorten the overall time that you're on the wall balls by just chipping away with fast speed on the actual squat.
And a short wall ball break actually makes a big difference.
It does.
Like if you can just drop it and stand there for 5 seconds and actually have it only be 5 seconds, I think it helps a lot. I've seen Jake does that a lot when he breaks up wall balls, and he's pretty successful at it.
Yeah, and he has done that in competition. Mia's talking about Jake Berman, one of the semifinal athletes we have on site. Well, not anymore. He's gone.
No,
he's in Miami now training
Jake.
with Noah. But still, he's up here, and he will often do, like, if it's a 25 reps or something, he'll do like 15 and 10 and be just as fast as someone that goes 25 unbroken because he keeps his speed up. And that's the same thing that's true with all of these movements, like pistols or your GHD speed. A lot of it does come down to how fast you're moving and then obviously keeping your rest break short.
So he's kind of using his chest to balance the wall ball. I don't think I've noticed people do that before. It's interesting.
You would prefer to go to like one side of your shoulder?
No, I like use my chin.
Yeah.
And I always have a scraped up chin after doing wall balls.
Why is my chin bloody after doing 100
But
wall balls?
Travis does it to one shoulder and then the other shoulder.
Yeah. So if you watch a couple different styles, Travis does kind of shoot it like a basketball. He always goes to his right side though. Some people will try to switch, go right side, left side. That could be effective. And then there is kind of this style. It's straight up and down. The hands are more on the side of the ball. I prefer the way Chris is doing. I've never balanced it with my chin, so I don't know what Mia's talking about. A couple of things.
It helps.
I believe it, other than a bloody chin. Some things you could think about with the wall ball, though, to speed it up and make it a little bit easier is widen your stance. You need to train it, but it can shorten the depth of the squat. So all you need to do is get your hip crease below your knee, widening the stance. You see Noah Olson do that a lot. It can help keep the wall ball cadence fast. And then bring your hands down quickly so that you get it as you're catching the ball. Your hands are all the way down to where it is balancing either on your chest or, to Mia's point, your chin, as opposed to kind of riding the ball down. That can be overly taxing on your shoulders.
Your phone's blocking the clock, so I don't know.
Sorry.
All right.
Yep, I have my phone
just under
on the
4
computer
minutes for 100 wall balls.
I would say that's pretty good. And I mean, look, somebody's going to go out and try to do 100 unbroken, and you may or may not blow up, or you may feel really good. But I think pacing the wall balls so you can go faster later on in the workout makes sense.
Yeah, unless wall balls are a strength for you, then definitely come up with a pacing structure. And I'd say wall balls and GHDs need to be a strength because you can blast through those wall balls and lose a lot of time on GHDs.
Yeah, most people think of GHDs as my core is going to blow up. But if you do 100 wall balls and then you do, yes, your quads. Yeah. And then you have to keep in mind that you're still doing pistols and echo bike and step over. So and we did that on purpose. This it looks kind of like there's some different styles of movements, but in reality, your quads, your hip flexors are going to be very tired by the end of this workout.
So he has the hips hanging kind of far off of the pad as his technique. I prefer hips on top of the pad. I think it helps my back and also helps my quads not blow up as much.
Yeah. I'm interested to see if the standard changes on this. If they kind of standardize where your hips or your butt cheeks have to be on the pad. I think that's coming because so many people manipulate the GHD. But, you know, I do think you need to train different styles and just kind of see what works best for you. Well, Chris came over, of course, said, why did I clarify that? Because I think people think hips is like high up on their butt, but like really it is your butt cheeks that are sitting on the pad.
No.
Okay, I was confused. I was confused in my own head.
I will say that standard that I think they released for age group last year was confusing.
It was, I agree.
I still don't really know where your butt is supposed to be.
Yeah, so take the Expo marker and draw it across your butt cheeks, and that's where it has to be on the pad. Okay, Chris? Thank you very much. What do you think, Mia, about breaking these up? Like, how are you doing this as an elite level athlete?
So I have for GHDs, small sets kind of blow me up more. Like stopping on GHDs a lot doesn't really make me feel better. I would be more about my positioning. I would flare my knees out some. Even if my butt has to stay towards the back of the pad, I would just kind of shorten the distance that my foot lock is from the pad so that I can flare my knees out and reach in between, and that will let my quads relax more.
Yeah.
But I would probably start with a big-ish set, but stop before I start to feel like either my respiration getting out of control or my quads starting to really blow up.
Yeah, mine is definitely always quad or like hip flexor blow up and not necessarily respiration. I think I can still breathe well in that overly extended position, but man, my quad, like if I don't do what you're saying where I'll do 10 reps where I have my knees really wide, 10 reps where they're really narrow, and kind of try to change almost like the muscular pathway that I'm using just so that I don't blow up. Because once you do, it's kind of, at least for me, it feels like blowing up a strict handstand push-up where I have to like take a really long break before I go again.
Yeah, and coming up in this workout, for me at least, is my worst movement, which is pistols. So I would have that in mind as how I would structure everything. And honestly, I think I would try to go a little faster leading into it, just knowing I would be slow on those.
Yeah. And for someone else, you know, I think about like Noah Olson, or you brought up Jake Berman. Those guys are like some of the best in the world at pistols.
Some people can just recover on pistols, and that blows my mind.
Maybe they pace the GHDs differently than what Mia is saying, just because they're really good at that. So you do need to think about all of these workouts as like, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? How am I going to attack this and break up the different movements? But then also think about how one movement may affect or impact the other ones later on in the workout. And so for me especially, pistols are already hard. GHDs make it way harder for me. So I have to be really careful of not blowing up on the GHD going into a pistol.
So his rest where he like takes his legs out and allows his quads to relax a little bit, I think that's smart. It eats up some time, but if you have to, you know, there's so much more quad work coming up that if you need to do that, it's a smart way to kind of manage that fatigue. And Chris is very good at pistols, so.
Yeah. So it was 4 minutes essentially to do the 80 GHD sit-ups. So 20 per minute. That's just kind of something that all of you, when you do this workout, you can kind of try to pace off of that. That's still really good movement on the GHDs. I don't think many people can go that fast, but if you are elite level, I think you need to go a little bit faster than that pace.
Yeah, he's great at these. He usually, any squatting pattern Chris moves really well through. He's just like a comfortable squatter with his positions and mobility.
And having the ability to just be able to, like as soon as you stand up, go into the other leg. A lot of people have to almost balance or bounce a little bit or
That's
pause.
Me.
Yeah, I mean, it really, there's such an advantage to getting that other foot down to the ground and then dropping right away. And even if you decide to do, I think he just did a set of 10 there. Like that's a good way, like do 10 fast, take your short break, do another 10 fast, and kind of stay on the clock that way.
I will say for those of you that are competing in quarterfinals looking for a semifinal spot, last year they were very strict on the pistol standard in video review.
Yes.
Like you had to be completely standing before that other foot touched the ground. And it looks like Chris is doing that, but he's doing it a little fast that it might be one of those things that like might not be worth the risk in a video review, because if you get a major penalty, that sucks.
We had quite a few on site that got that, and when you paused,
so many people got that penalty.
Yeah. When you paused their videos, they were really, really close. No one was trying to skirt it on site. Like everyone was just trying to go as fast as possible. Noah was a good example of that because he knew he could win that workout. But again, it's not worth it. Like Noah got away with it because he won the workout and then got penalized down to whatever 80th in the world or something. But if you're 180th and you get penalized to 800th and you're trying to make a semifinal, then that really hurts you.
Yeah, so that's something to play with and figure out how to make that standard clear while still moving quickly. And that might be you just have to keep your feet a little higher and hit that extension quickly and then go into the next one. Because I'm not sure about this, but I think they do slow down video in video review.
Yeah, I have to imagine that they should.
Yeah.
Even if they don't. I mean, it makes sense to be able to pause it, although that makes it more sketchy when you're doing your reps. Yeah. So you'll notice Chris is breathing hard, but this is not like 10 rounds for time of 10 power snatches and 10 bar facing burpees where you're like just your respiration rate is through the roof. There's so many muscular bottlenecks here, from the wall ball, having to kind of manage the fatigue, to the GHD, now to the pistol. This is the point in the workout where heart rate's probably going to spike, respiration rate's going to spike going into the box step over. So just make sure that you're ready to kind of crush the bike here and get your heart rate up to an uncomfortable level in a workout like this.
Yeah, this is definitely the point where you have to start grinding, and there's no more movements that you're going to really blow up on. There's only 20 step overs, so even if that is a very hard movement for you, the volume isn't high enough to be a huge bottleneck. So I think you have to attack the Echo bike as your, not sprint finish, but like the beginning of your push to finish.
Yeah, the elite version is 40 calories on the Echo bike. The RX version is 20. So I bring that up because in 40 calories, it could be a huge separator. So I both on the male and female side, someone that's a little bit better that can manage kind of like a max sustainable pace that's, let's just say 40 or 50 watts higher than an average person, you're going to get off the bike 15 or 20 seconds ahead of those people and have a huge advantage going on to the box step overs.
Yeah, the Echo bike can be so rewarding and also so punishing.
Yeah. What would you recommend? So you can see actually Chris here, he's at 300 and I think it said 337. It's kind of hard for me to see. 337. Sorry, the camera lens was hard to focus there. I would say that's probably a good place to start, especially coming off the pistols for a male. But high-level males that are really good at the Echo bike will be over 400 watts. You're going to see some guys that are probably in the 450 range by the end of it. I know that may seem like just absolutely unattainable, but that's the difference in like the best in the sport and kind of where everyone else is. What would a female hold on the bike?
So I think the pace he has now would be a pretty elite pace for a female to hold. I would try to stay above 250 to 300 and probably try to like build as I go, as I recover from pistols, closer to 300. But I would definitely try to stay above 250, which at this point would be, I think, difficult to do with all the leg fatigue.
Yeah, there is so much leg fatigue. So when we're talking about those watts, just keep in mind the first couple cows are probably going to be really hard to get to that number, and it may be impossible even to get there after 10 or 15 cows at an easier pace. So just keep that in mind. But the one thing I like to do, which I wouldn't recommend this for most people, but if you have a lot of experience on either the ergs or on the Echo bike, is to fluctuate pace. So what I mean by that is I would start with 10 cows at essentially where Chris's pace is, and then I would do 20 cows at a really hard pace and then 10 cows at an easier pace. That's a fun way for me to do it.
So now 20 step overs to finish. I know this isn't his favorite movement, but he does a pretty good job of grinding through it. He does that crossover step, which is, I think, a quick way to do it, not the quickest way. I think that if you can kind of just tap the box with that lead foot with the what's the opposite of lead? Trailing foot, and just swing it back through, then that's much faster, but that is hard to do if you're short. And then depending on the standard, if you can clear the box with that trailing foot, that's the fastest way to do it.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job, though, grinding on these. I know that this has to be so hard at the end of the workout. For those that are a little bit taller, like I always make fun of Mia, but if she's doing this on a 20-inch box, she's crushing it. Like, take some risks here and see how many you can do. Do a max unbroken set, and if you have to put it down at 16, that's fine. Then just get right back up and finish your last 4.
So he's grinding. It's getting rough when your shoulders start to be like at your hips when you're at the top of the box.
I actually really like that style. I feel like most people can't breathe when they're really hinged over like that, but it makes it much easier on my legs to get over the box.
Yeah, I do that a lot where I just kind of let my arms droop.
And an awesome finish, 14:22. Go beat that score, my friends.
Good luck.